Okay, let's dive in. You've given us a really interesting set of materials, articles, your notes, and it paints a picture of, well, a crypto market that's definitely buzzing right now.
Yeah, buzzing is a good word for it. We're seeing some major price action, big players making moves, even politics getting involved, and some pretty bold predictions, too.
Right. So the plan for this deep dive is basically to pull out the key stuff from these specific sources you shared, give you a quick handle on what's really going on based on this material.
Exactly, a shortcut through the noise, focusing just on these insights.
And the backdrop is, significant volatility, but also this growing attention on crypto from sectors that maybe weren't paying as much attention before,
Yeah.
traditional finance, politics.
Definitely. The sources you pulled touch on all of that, the price moves, the big money investments, that political angle, and what some folks think might be coming next.
So where do we start? That price jump seems like a big headline.
It really is one of the standout points from your sources. Bitcoin hitting a huge new milestone, an all-time high of $109,499.76.
Wow. Okay. Over 109K. What do the sources say is behind that surge?
Well, the material connects that peak and the sort of settling around $108,800 pretty directly to optimism about potential progress in U.S. crypto legislation.
Legislation, like what specific?
Mostly around stablecoin regulation, according to the sources. The key takeaway here isn't just the potential rules, but that the prospect of clearer rules seems to be actively moving the market price. That signals something, maybe more maturity.
Right, right. So it's not just abstract talk anymore. Okay, so regulation optimism is one driver. But your notes also flag some big corporate moves, Trump Media, for instance.
Ah, yes, that's definitely noteworthy. According to your notes, Trump Media, with Devin Nunes as CEO, pulled in a massive investment. We're talking $2.5 billion.
$2.5 billion. Wow, what's the plan there? Just hold it.
Not just hold it. The source is specific. It's intended to build up a dedicated Bitcoin reserve. And more than that, the material says they plan to accept Bitcoin for Truth Social subscriptions.
Okay, so actual integration.
Exactly, and even exploring their own utility token. It's fascinating because you see a media company making a really significant strategic jump right into crypto, not just as an asset, but potentially as part of their operations.
That is a shift. And sticking with the Trump connection for a moment, one source mentioned something about a meme coin dinner.
Yes, that was in there. It highlights this growing intersection of politics and crypto. The source describes President Trump hosting a dinner for major investors in the Trump P meme coin.
And that caused some ripples.
It did. The source notes it drew criticism, mentioning Senator Jeff Merkley specifically, raising concerns about, mixing political office with potential personal financial interests in digital assets. People like the Winklevoss twins were apparently there.
Okay, so definitely shows crypto is getting tangled up in political discussions, sometimes controversially. Let's shift gears, though, from politics to big finance. BlackRock made a move you highlighted.
Yeah, this one definitely caught people's attention. BlackRock, they're a giant. The sources detail them selling off a pretty hefty chunk of Bitcoin, $430 million worth,
Okay.
and almost simultaneously buying $70 million worth of Ethereum.
So selling BTC, buying ETH, that's a substantial reallocation. What are the sources suggesting that implies?
Well, the material notes, it reignited some of that flippening speculation, the idea that Ethereum's market cap might eventually overtake Bitcoin's.
Right.
For a huge player like BlackRock to move that kind of money into ETH, it suggests, growing institutional belief in Ethereum's ecosystem, maybe its future potential beyond just what Bitcoin offers.
Interesting. And looking further ahead, there was that ARK Invest prediction in the material. That seemed ambitious.
Oh, definitely ambitious. Kathy Wood's ARK Invest revised their Bitcoin price target way, way up. The forecast mentioned in the source is $2.4 million per Bitcoin by 2030.
2.4 million. That's quite a leap from 109K. What's their reasoning, according to the source?
The main drivers they cite are, first, continued institutional adoption, more big players getting in, and second, increasing regulatory clarity around the world. It actually ties back to that first point about price being pushed by legislative optimism, just on a much grander scale.
Okay, so if we pull all this together from the sources you shared, we've got Bitcoin hitting record highs, partly on regulation hopes. We have Trump Media putting billions into a BTC reserve and planning to use it. We see crypto mixing directly with politics, like that Trump dinner. Then BlackRock making a strategic shift towards Ethereum. And finally, Aracade in making this incredibly bullish long-term bet based on institutions, and clarity.
Yeah, you lay it out like that, and you see they're not really separate stories, are they? It shows big money, political interest, future bets. It's all converging right now in this market.
It really highlights how interconnected everything's become. It's moved way beyond just, early adopters and retail speculation.
Absolutely. Major institutions, policy debates. It's a different landscape.
So thinking about these specific sources you brought together, how do these institutional plays like BlackRock adjusting its portfolio or Trump media creating that reserve combined with the political interactions and these, frankly, huge predictions,
hmm
how does that shape your own view of where things might go next? Particularly with ideas like the flippening or the roles of BTC versus ETH. What does this specific mix of factors highlighted right here in this material imply for the average person trying to figure out this space?
Definitely something to chew on.